So, about a month ago, I finished my 8-year-long Dungeons and Dragons campaign. 5th edition, all homebrew, and I've had some time to process it, think about it, and I wanna make a video about it and share some of my thoughts. Just to have some kind of diary or log about my experience, I think. It would be fun to look back on, at least. So when did we start? We started in 2017, I think. Around November 2017. I think we started. I'd never tried D&D. Never tried to be a dungeon master before. It was my first time. And kind of jumped into it. Took me about a month, maybe a little bit more, to set up the homebrew world, set up starting locations, the first village. But I started with basically the bare bones, just a starter village with a shop and a blacksmith, a tavern, and then I had just a cave with goblins. That was my whole plan, and nothing else planned when we ran our first encounters, our first session. Just drunk goblins in a cave. That was my go-to, and it went surprisingly well. It was fun. Was extremely nervous the first time, I remember. Because, of course I would be when I didn't know what I was doing. And still it went well. I don't think we did much else first session than just tracking down some drunk goblin thieves, taking them out, and testing out the game. Well, we had one kind of a trial session where we tested the first few rooms of first cave in Phandelver. But that was just one time with a different DM. That was my whole experience before starting. And now it's been 8 years of I tried to do it every other week, but it's been breaks in between, and I've started several other tiny campaigns that we've been running in between breaks and stuff. Had a good start, actually. I think so. Considering all things considered, could have gone much worse. As I just jumped into it, didn't come very naturally to me. I think I've never done any writing or things like that before. Those were all things I had to learn as I got into the game. Now I'm much better. I'm even considering doing some actual work inside writing and stuff after all the experience I've had the last 8 years. Yeah, we started simply level 1, ran it all the way to level 20 in 5th edition, which is rare, I know. Very few people do that. It's a bit of an extreme undertaking. Didn't understand how much work I was signing up for. Because if anybody else has done it out there that is listening, you know how much work goes into this, and how much like homebrewing, how much just adjusting you have to do, because 5th edition isn't really designed for playing after level 12, I would say. 16 it will be pushing it. You'd have to throw dragons and Tarrasques at the party at every turn if you're playing past level 16. And even then, in the last few levels, like 16 and up, just using anything in the monster manual would be out of the question. Every single boss has to be handmade, has to be homebrewed. Every single encounter has to be handmade, really. Or else it's just pointless. It's just an instant victory. And sometimes, even though You throw all you've got at the party, they still instantly win with just one spell. Had the wizard use Meteor Swarm on the entire enemy guard barracks by the end. Killed like 200 knights or something like that in one spell. 250 knights just gone. But at the start, it was just trial and error. Started with the Goblin Cave, as I talked about. Second session was some giant crabs on a beach and a bit of exploration. I think there was a few sessions in before I introduced the first city that I made a map for and everything. Fleshed out a little bit. Fleshed out the shops and organizations and stuff like that. And I did it incrementally. As they would come to a place, I would make a map for it. Make a town key that kind of kept up for at least the first year, I think, before I started to really get into it and move a way ahead of what I had been writing. So a few years in, I had almost the whole world fleshed out. Some villages empty, but all the big cities I had either made a map for or made like a written a page, shops or factions or kind of interesting people would be in any kind of town they would go to. And by that time, I think the world started to open up as well, because they had a kind of a dive into the Underdark for a while, and once they were out of that, we were on the sea, and then the whole world I'd made was open. I kind of adapted my story to flow around whatever they chose to do, make it a little bit more sandboxy than it was in the beginning. My original arc, I think, really kicked off around 3rd level, because before that it was kind of just test sessions, just checking how the system worked, leveling up, exploring the local area, doing side quests and stuff, just having fun, testing the limits of the game, as players like to do. Then I started writing the proper first arc, which I chose to go with the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, Fallen Angel version of each one as a boss, and scattered them out on the starting continent they were on, and made 4 conflicts, sort of, that they could choose to engage with as they wanted. First wrapped them up in, I think it was either death or war, because there was a zombie horde at one point that kind of ran through their starting village and besieged them in their home base that they'd started investing in. And I think that put them on the trail of the Horsemen of Death, which caught them onto the Horsemen of War, which became the first focus. I think they became level 3 as they fought the Horsemen of War, which is a bit insane, because I used a solar stats, and if you know solar stats, they're kind of high for a 3rd level party to be dealing with, so I had to tone down the damage, but except for damage output and spells and stuff, they did actually manage to take down a solar at that point, which is quite impressive. What are they called? Planetars, I think. The kind of medium angels. I used those for the other 3 because I think I overdid it a bit with the war. I fought him, but it was fun. I ran a whole political intrigue scheme in the city where he was kind of working as an instigator, trying to brew up conflict, as he was an angel of conflict. As I think it's Conquest is named in the Bible. I think so. And kind of got involved with that plot that he was running. Make 2 human factions clash using an orc horde as kind of the gunpowder to ignite the whole conflict. Betrayed the party, had them thrown in jail for the first time, like proper deep dungeon jail. They called it the Dragon's Bowels, where no one escapes. Ballistas pointed inwards, rows of archers, and none of the party had the spells to just get them out. I even put anti-magic collars on the obvious spellcasters, keep them chained up. They had to go down, get out. They have to dig into the Underdark for their first little foray into the Underdark, where I put lots of nasty stuff down there, as you should, when you run a little third level Underdark bout. Nasty creatures, living traps, and kind of Underdark Night Goblin-esque group. Some ogres, big bugs, acid spitting ankegs, stuff like that. I kept the Underdark stocked and scary. They were dodging from shadow to shadow, trying to survive with what little gear they had. I think they had pickaxes and chains and stuff. They managed to get out with the assistance of I think they had a wizard with them that helped them escape. And that was it. They emerged again into the outskirts of the city and decided to go into the city to deal with war. Sneaking their way in, or talking their way in, getting their gear back, and then confronting war in the throne room, which escalated into this massive battle. And then he opened a gate that led out to the battlefield where the orcs were besieging the city. And they fought encircled by orcs and with a bunch of soldiers around them. It's the middle of a battlefield. It was fun. They managed to take him down, get some magic items. Some of them were a bit overpowered. I decided to add something that could stun, which that's a mistake I've learned from. Don't make magic items that can stun, at least not early on. It's bad enough if you have a monk in the party, but magic items that can do the same thing. Man, that did some damage. Learning from that, I built a bigger city, and they picked up some rumors about plague starting in that rival human factions big city. A big human city. Made it like Attack on Titan style with the massive walls around the city. Several criminal factions going on inside that city, and some contacts they could meet up with. But I introduced another player as well that had some kind of insider information. He'd already been in the city for a few weeks, so they managed to quickly track down this plague district that had been kind of walled in by the city, and they were considering burning the whole thing when the players arrived, looking for the Horsemen of Pestilence, and they dove in, started an investigation, slowly unraveling a kind of mutated running zombie kind of mutagen running around that they traced to this pestilence. Started looking around abandoned buildings, stuff like that, tracking. Had their first encounter, which they had to run from because I threw a swarm of running zombies at them with the boss there at the same time. So they had to run away the first time. Went to high ground and just kind of zombies can't necessarily climb, and they're kind of mindless, so they just stood on an aqueduct and fired until they killed the swarm, eventually tracking Horsemen of Pestilence down in a hospital inside the plague hospital, where they fought him and a bunch of zombies at the same time. Managed to take him down as well. Got some more magic items. Started looking to the north. Started tracking death. They found some death cultists. Started checking the villages, for some of the villages reported that their graveyards had been robbed, or their dead had walked away from the graveyard, risen by some necromancers. So tracking necromancers around, they came upon a group of slavers where they found another player character that joined, and this malnourished young woman that was mute and communicated by telepathic images, horrid telepathic images, all about suffering and abuse, stuff like that. So they took her under their wing, try and take care of her, and me being a bit of an asshole, of course used that as Famine, the rider of Famine, just hiding out in their base for a long time until they decided to properly inspect her, and she kind of erupted in screams and turned into one of those angels as well, fallen angel, summoning a bunch of rat men from the Underdark to assist her, vermin, swarms and stuff, using a very nasty staff that caused exhaustion, which the party of course got a hold of after they defeated her. So the wizard was walking around with this exhaustion bomb at all times, used to the detriment of both the party and to the enemies they faced. Now I think I would have made it a bit of a bigger arc. Had a plan of maybe some farmland that was drying up that I could investigate. That kind of never became interesting, so I just decided to use her as a kind of insider agent instead. That worked fine, but I kind of missed the chance to use her as a bit more of the story, because could have been interesting, making like a famine-themed campaign arc. But instead I decided to focus on death. That is great when you wanna set up a campaign. Start building encounters, because you can use undead at every level. I think I used undead the whole campaign. Undead are great. So started with zombies and skeletons. I think I made a few custom undead as well. Started experimenting with making my own monsters. Not very effective, not very interesting monsters, but I did make some like undead knights and stuff. Yeah, they tracked death. All the side villages on the continent, leading south to kind of marshlands. Encountered the first vampire, taking a beat from Oblivion. I used a vampire as the count in the city, more benevolent than evil, feeding on criminals and the underbelly of the city, and very opposed. He was in opposition to the Horseman of Death, as he was a rival necromancer, sort of. So they befriended this vampire, worked with him to finally track down Death and his henchmen, because he had gathered a sizable cult at this point. And they fought him in a crypt, finally defeating him too, and ending my first campaign arc, taking out all 4 horsemen. I remember that is a very good feeling. It's recommended to, at least if you want to run D&D, please try completing a full story arc, because it's very satisfying. So I was at that point I was writing a lot, making several future arcs, trying not to write too much story, but at least world building, fleshing the world out, so that we could run D&D anywhere in the big sandbox I made. I thought they were gonna go deal with some local issues, but they got into some trouble with one of the players becoming a vampire. So to avoid criminal prosecution, they went into the Underdark on a dwarvish expedition to reclaim the old homeland. They served as guards, sometimes guides, and yeah, I ran it as like a long form Underdark travel through dwarven highways, which was a bit new as well. I never run long travel bits where I had to constantly keep rolling random encounters, constantly keep rolling hazards, environmental dangers as well, like cave-ins, abysses, deep pits, lava. Our first encounter with lava, I think we had there, with one of our players losing a hand because he tried to punch lava.
Have you got a plan, my lord?
Yes, I have, and it's so cunning you could brush your teeth with it.
Yeah, very good. Punch lava. See what happens. They went deep, deep, deep underground. Found eventually some civilization down there. Ancient dwarven ruins. Overtaken by goblins and some kind of pain cult. Some kind of strange pain apostle cultists worshipping torture. They were followers of a certain king that crawls, and I kept sprinkling in little hints, leaving ancient text behind of something chasing people, warning, like graffiti warning not to say his name and stuff like that, written in Dwarvish around the walls, and eventually that culminating in the party finding that city, the old Dwarvish city, completely abandoned, just an empty husk, like the jewel of the Dwarven civilization, just emptied out. There was no one there, just ghosts. As they kept exploring, they kept finding Dwarvish remains. So they kept digging and digging and digging and digging until they found a lore keeper's abode high up in fortress, sort of. They found a lore keeper's abode looking out across the city, where they eventually came across the name of Torog. I think he's the god of pain from 4th edition, I think. God of torture and pain. And the Underdark deity as well. So as soon as one of my players read that name, I asked him, do you say it out loud? And he said, yeah, of course. Say it out loud. Say Torog. And I could see everyone at the table at the same time realize what was going on and just look at him as he also realized what was going on. And I had everybody hear a scream, like a roar, an ogreish, giant-ish roar coming from inside the city, as they had awoken the horde of verminous Underdark creatures, servants of Torog, coming to keep the Dwarvish city dead, as he had chased the dwarves out of the Underdark thousands of years ago. Now he was here to do it again. So I had suddenly another chase scene deep in the Underdark, with everybody shitting their pants, trying desperately to get away, as I had more and more, just a swarm in from every angle, chasing them around the Underdark, into tunnels and stuff, unrelenting, until they ended up taking a wrong turn and went right into one of those Varens, where kind of Skaven-inspired Varen, where the king that crawls was waiting for them. Torog himself was waiting, where they gave up at that point. So I think they realized that they were kind of fucked up in irons once again, because he's also the god of imprisonment, I think. He put them into what I made myself, was the Aminator cages, kind of in the prisonified body of a dead primordial, magma everywhere, and bone cages, magically enhanced, and some metal cages for the new arrivals. And they would have been trapped in there forever, I think, just being continuously tortured by fire, if one of the players hadn't been a vampire. He had regeneration, so he could just continue to bang his head against the metal bars until they finally broke. And he had this long escape sequence from the Underdark, picking up a few dwarves on the way, releasing this strange warlock that they met, this obsidian-skinned, bald, pale-eyed, promised to aid them if they released him from one of those strange Amunator cages he was suspended in. And although they were a little skeptical of the guy, they did release him. I introduced him as Nayar. He helped them up to the surface, and they became kind of traveling companions after that. As well as one of my players wanted to take a break with his character, so one of the dwarves became kind of a barbarian that joined them as well. As they ascended it to the surface world again, they started to wrap up some of those loose threads, and went out to finally explore the world onto the sea that I had now written and fleshed out, and made my own list of random encounters now. For wherever they were going, I kind of balanced it. I want to try and kind of make my own. It worked very well. Some scary encounters. I warned my players that they might have to run sometimes, and they took my advice. They knew when to run and when to stay and fight. Fleshed out some organizations around the world, and as they went, they just wanted to explore. I think at this point, we went encountering some elves in a huge forest. We had a siege there with some chaos creatures, beastmen. A fun little siege, lots of chaos. They also had Niar with them traveling, because he wanted to visit that continent. City, he claimed his city of origin was there or something, so they were trying to escort him. First they made a long stop with the elves, having him along, using his warlock powers. Befriended some elves. One of the players was a paladin of the ancients, so he became part of that elvish order over time. Managed to join them, because they freed some ancient trapped treant from the Underdark as well. So he had an in with him, and he became part of the paladin order of the Wood Elves. They then encountered their first proper dragon encounter, as I had an ancient green dragon be a problem outside the city. As they were helping look for, I think it was a unicorn they were looking for, that we were gonna bring back to the grove. They met the first ancient green dragon, and I used the proper ancient green dragon stats, but I also gave him some magic items, a little bit of spellcasting, but not particularly useful in combat. Just the optional shape-shifting rules and stuff like that. Like, turn into humanoids. And I had him kind of play around, follow the party around sometimes, and spy on them and stuff, scrying a little bit. And I made him the commander of this hobgoblin army, far to the north, and that was a threat to the Wood Elves. We had a kind of side adventure facing that dragon. Ran my first kind of warfare encounter, where we had this huge hobgoblin camp that I used lots of soldiers with them. It was kind of half-assed, so it wasn't that successful, I think, because I didn't really know at the time how to incorporate warfare. I think I'd do a much better job of it now, making optional rules for commanding units and stuff. Yeah, it's still fun. And the dragon fight was pretty cool. In his lair at the middle of that hobgoblin camp, top of a broken fortress. Took the dragon down. They got a ring of invisibility of him. And then they went south with Niar to look for the desert, the sands of Sildorn. Like, at this point I started to pivot the whole campaign to a more Lovecraftian angle, because I wanted to run three beasts, almost like biblical beasts, but I wanted to use Lovecraftian creatures. I had written out an extensive Lovecraftian campaign as they got to a place I call the Nameless City, as some of you will know. And had Niar kind of turn on them as he proved to be a creature called the Black Pharaoh, or Nyarlathotep, as he's called in Lovecraftian lore in the Cthulhu universe. I had him kind of start chasing them. They fought him. One of the characters died and was consumed. The rest ran. Then I had him kind of appear and try to summon his brethren. Started with the King in Yellow, which he summoned into that big city where they fought Pestilence. And I had him kind of follow them around, animate this obsidian pyramid that he used kind of like a spelljammer to keep following them or attacking certain places on the continent they were on, as he was interested in using them as servants, bodyguards, because his old bodyguards had turned on him. So they were kind of undead. I think I used them as mummies that he was using at that point. Four mummies. It was his personal guard, but he wanted new ones to join the Horu, the personal guard of the Black Pharaoh. So he kept just toying with the party sometimes, just because he's a chaotic being, and I tried to play him as such, sending out invitations to the lunar eclipse as he was summoning the King in Yellow into the world, avatar of him. Ended up making a rift that kind of broke parts of that city, kind of wild magic area. Yeah, he dropped the pyramid on the parts of the city, killing thousands. He dropped concentration on holding the pyramid aloft, so it dropped. But that was a threat he made towards the party, which they chose to ignore and fire at him anyways. So he, in front of them, dropped concentration on the pyramid, having it drop from the sky and kill thousands. Yeah, he then appeared over the city where the party started next to, the first city I made, and then I just started destroying my own creation. Had him have everybody go insane inside the city, destroying factions, killing people, killing named people. To climb a mage tower in the middle of the city, get into that pyramid, and fight their way through this mystical, magical pyramid. Finally confronting him in the central chamber. The next part I ran was Dagon. Yeah. They had them go to a continent they hadn't been to already. They were getting on an airship at some point. Traveling to try to get to that continent to wrap up some other stuff, when they were attacked on that airship, which crashed out of the sky. I used the mummy guards of Nyarlathotep to attack them and destroy the airship in midair. So I had this whole crash sequence as they tumbled out of the sky, seeing mountaintops go past them and stuff. That was a good encounter. That will be our most memorable one, I think, for the campaign. Wild magic going off and mummies spinning with a spinning, crashing airship. That was crazy. Difficult to run encounter though, but I was starting to challenge myself more at this point, I think. Getting better, getting more used to it. After that, they ran kind of a Shadow over Innsmouth inspired encounter on a coastal city where I introduced Dagon, Grandfather Dagon, mostly homebrewed. They're just heavily inspired by Shadow over Innsmouth and related content. They had to fight these captains and everything, and made all the dramatic moments by kidnapping their friends and having them put to sleep, and had the whole town turn against them because they're all cultists of Dagon, just like Shadow over Innsmouth. culminating in them fighting Dagon under the Devil Reef. That was great. The whole sequence was great. I think that's my personal favorite part of the campaign, because it suddenly turned to horror. Instead of what I usually been doing through the whole campaign, which was having Spotify up and playing music, and just having that in the background, I turned all music off and just had ambient rain sounds from the moment they entered that city. I call it Krakenheim. Kind of used the a part of Half-Life 2, where they say we don't go to Ravenholm. They use that saying a bit, just to build some tension. We don't go to Krakenheim. Use that to great effect. That had an extremely terrifying effect on the players. They were on edge from the moment they came to that place. The moment they left, they were on edge all the time, just shoulders up, getting scared. And that was a great way to run horror. Atmosphere shift, and I took my time building tension so that it was actually scary at the point. I don't think they were fighting like villagers and stuff. It wasn't very dangerous most of the time. They were still scared because I ramped up the tension so much. So that was great. More Lovecraftian goodness with that. Got introduced to some dark elves in that area. Had them go into a crypt and fight a lich with undead dragon, because it's a zombie dragon. Blue zombie dragon and a lich at the same time. It was at this point, I think, that I was starting to realize that I was losing control of the strength of the party. Because if you control lich and skeletons and a zombie dragon, them at the same time, and they weren't very high level at this point, might have some balancing issues. And I did. Had a bit of a slog around this time, especially I think that was the worst slog, fighting fire giants right after this. We went through a rift into Muspelheim, and I used my first official content. I used what's it called from Against the Giants? Fire Giant Jarl Rift or something? Nah, that's something like that. At least it's from Against the Giants. It's in. I used the version from Tales of the Yawning Portal. Mostly used the map and just the key of creatures. I didn't really follow the encounters very much, because I wanted just an official location that other campaigns could go to as well at a later date. That's why I used something that I didn't homebrew, and that was a bit of a slog. I think it was just battle after battle after battle, and nothing really happening except battle. And people got a bit tired of it and started to be distracted, and people got annoyed. And at least I didn't have a good time DMing that part. For me, it was a bit of a disappointment, because I had been really looking forward to running giants. I wanted to run like this big giant encounter. I still do want to run a lot of giants, and I plan to in the future. But I don't think I was ready at that point to make it interesting. Giants in 5th edition are just hit point packs. So I think I'm going to use 4th edition giants, maybe, with some more special abilities. Maybe make some custom ones as well, if I run something in the future. That aren't just hit back. It wasn't very riveting combat. Not after the other encounters I'd been running, with some actually rewarding roleplay and rewarding combat. Especially the airship, Krakenheim, right before. The Lich as well was fun. Having that to compare it with, I don't think the Fire Giant Fortress was very good. But it had its moments, and lots of magic items were obtained. Lots of experience, because I kind of needed to level them up a bit before I wanted to go the final stretches. You know, the Fire Giants, they started to talk with some lizard folk, explored some jungle, found some things out there, did some side quests, and started to wrap up the threads I've been laying out during the campaign. leading towards the final arc of, next to final arc of the Three Beasts, where they did take Nyarlathotep first. I think they went for Dagon second. I had to deal with him because he got loose after Krakenheim. Fought him in the ocean, stuff like that. Ended up losing the Battle of Time with this, just from attrition, because he had a plan to flood the Dark Elf kingdoms, and he did. Eventually, they lost that part. Yeah, he dropped an ocean into. It was kind of in a volcanic caldera, so he dropped an ocean on them, flooded the whole thing, made the Dark Elf people refugees. So that changed a whole bit of the campaign, and it's still there for future use if they want to wrap up that thread. They have this caldera filled with deep ones, and Grandfather Dagon, an avatar of Dagon, swimming around in a volcanic ocean. Then they went back to the Wood Elves because they were under attack by demons. I was gonna try to summon Baphomet to have him emerge and have them fight Baphomet avatar. I had it painted up all nice as well. But that encounter they dominated. They destroyed the behemoth, the abyssal behemoth I was using to kind of wreck ruin the city, and was climbing up the tree to try and use the heart of the massive Wood Elf Grove tree as a place to summon Baphomet. But none of that happened. They just utterly killed it, and killed a lot of demons in the process. Had this massive demon siege going on, but they just tore through it. After they defeated that behemoth, they were kind of done with the Three Beasts. So I ran 4 horsemen, Underdark, explorations, and then the Three Beasts. And I asked them what do you want to do for the final stretch of the campaign, and they landed on the King in Yellow that had been summoned in that imperial city they'd been to. I wrote this 17-page document for the last few levels, dealing with a cult in the city that was starting to form, dealing with the rift that had been opened, kind of a warp, much like the movie Annihilation. I made this kind of oily, wild magic warp that was twisting everything, mutating everything that they had to dive into. Dealing also with this corrupt church that was making everything worse during this whole thing. They took out that, dealt with a serial killer I had as a red thread through the whole thing, and finally dove into that warp, banished the avatar of the King in Yellow, followed him through the rift into Carcosa, which I have homebrewed a whole part of. And then they tracked him to his throne room and defeated him there in one long epic session, between 6 and 8 hours, I think, of constant grindy last combat battle. I did 3 phases: Avatar form, then King in Yellow form, then I did Ashtur as his true form. Kind of a bestial eldritch horror at the end. Lots of crazy stuff. I was destroying the whole stage. I had lots of summons. I threw everything I had. I threw a dragon at him, Shadow Dragon. I threw the 9th level spells. I didn't give him a limit for how many 9th level spells I could cast. So I started casting 9th level spells from the start of the encounter all the way to the end. Didn't matter. None of them died. And one of them got knocked out all the way to the end of the encounter. The wizard got knocked out. That's it. Some of them I don't think even took proper damage, because 5th edition is silly. And it was a good trip. It was fun, and it was a big achievement for me to be able to run 5th edition campaign from 1st level all the way up to 20th level, and then have a final encounter with the great boss with 3 phases. That felt good. And it feels good to be done with it. It's like an 8-year chapter of my life finished. And I want to try other stuff. I want to play everything. I want to play lots of pre-made stuff. I want to play all the official modules just to see what they are about, and I want to run my own campaigns as well, homebrews. My party at the end was Wizard, level 20, Warlock, which had multiclass into Cleric, all the way up to level 20, Cleric Ranger, all the way up to, and Rogue, I think, all the way up to level 20, Barbarian, Fighter, all the way up to level 20, and a full Oath of the Ancients Paladin that ruined all my spellcasting fun, because they have that anti-magic aura, which destroys everything. But yeah, it was good. I had a good time, and I think they did too, and that's the most important part. That's what I want to talk about today. So thank you for listening. If you've been listening, have a nice day. Have a nice week, and goodbye.